Okay, can I just do a shout out very quickly before we start this podcast? We were asking for suggestions for good opening sentences for the podcast. This one was sent in by Brian Davis. And you know what? I hate you, Brian, for this, because this is...
And I put it in there. I put it in there to make you say it.
I knew it. Right. Hello and welcome to your weekly pick of the peck of... Hello and welcome to your weekly pick of the peck of EV peppers from the team electrifying.com.
Well done.
It. Right, this week we're going to talk about brave prices, poo bans, hot hatches, and getting your car powered by a volcano. Yeah, we're also answering your electric car questions, dipping into the postbag to find out your views on last week's episode as well. Welcome to the Kilowatt Half Hour. I'm Nicola.
And I'm Tom.
God, blimey. What an intro.
Do we want more suggestions from the listeners of intros?
I feel
that
like
are even more difficult to say?
God, blimey. Right. First up, what have we been driving? I've been driving quite a few things, actually.
You have
recently.
been. Well, you always are. Yeah, what have you been driving?
Well, the first one that pops in my head is the Kia EV6 GT, the updated queen that she is. Wow.
People enjoyed that video. I haven't seen it yet. But
haven't you?
I looked through the comments and there was lots of people saying nice things, mainly about you.
Well, it's basically 13 minutes of me having a lovely time. That's all it is. It's just 13 minutes of me going, whee! It's just so ridiculous. We had an incredible time on that launch. We went up to Scotland. Scotland is glorious. What a beautiful place. Really lovely roads. And we were so lucky with the weather as well. It started raining the following day after we left. So we kind of nailed it. And to drive that car, I mean, it's now got 641 horsepower, which is insane.
Ample.
It's gone down in price by about $2,000, something like that. And it's now got the virtual gear selectors. It's now got the fake engine noise that you can put in, a bit like the Ioniq 5N. And I absolutely bloody loved it. I loved it. I had a great time. So, yeah, if you want to go back and watch that video, it's just 13 minutes of me having fun, really. I had a great time.
I don't think it's very me, that car. Is it me?
No, it's not you. No, it's me. It's not you. Might
But
be a little bit Mike.
Oh, but you did drive another car that I think might be me, and I really hope it's good.
The DS number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it drove beautifully. It was really smooth. We drove the front wheel drive on the first day, and then the second day we drove the all-wheel drive, and you could definitely feel the difference. I much prefer the all-wheel drive. It drove really, really nice. It was silent. It was smooth. The steering has a nice bit of weight behind it, so you feel like you do feel completely connected to the car. It's a big old boy. It's big, and it does feel big when you're driving it. And I sat in the back, actually, managed to get Steve Fowler to drive the car while I sat in the back to see what it's like to be chauffeured in. And it was thoroughly lovely at the back. My issue is that at the launch, they were banging on about the fact that this is French luxury and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think they can call it luxury. I think they can call it premium. Premium's fine. But I found like luxury was maybe a tad too far. Do you see what I mean? There were certain like plastics and bits that you just find in like a Grande Panda.
Yeah.
That was a bit
I thought it was interesting that the intro to that, and you're talking about French luxury brands, and basically all the world's luxury brands that aren't cars are French.
Yeah.
But then when you get to cars, they do, TCVs and cheap stuff on cheap finance. So it is interesting, and you can imagine them thinking, why is this? Why can't we do luxury properly?
Yeah, you can see where they've given it a good go. And I don't know if you know this, but Steve Fowler is such an audio nerd. So he has very specific songs when there's a different sound system in a car that he has to listen to make sure that it sounds nice. And where they've put on the side of the cars, you've got kind of aluminium sort of covers that go over the speakers. And he thinks, in his opinion, to be fair, I couldn't quite tell the difference because I'm not that much of an audio nerd. But he said he made that, those just kind of made it feel a little bit tinny because it's a cover that goes over the top of the speakers to make it look nice. And he thinks that's affected the sound, which I found quite interesting.
I often wonder about audio systems in cars. They have all these posh labels on them for, a system that would be £10,000 if you had one at home. And I thought, is that real? Or is it just the fake speaker underneath, and then just some branding. There was a story that there was one luxury manufacturer that had a branded clock, and it was the brand of a very posh watch brand.
Right.
And because you couldn't have all the complicated things that you'd have in a Swiss watch in a car, because it needs to work at 12 volts, and it needs to work in the Arizona desert and in the Arctic Circle, it was basically the same as in one of their cheap hatchbacks, but had this posh face on, and was just a licensing deal, and that was all it was.
So basically, the face said Rolex, but underneath said Rolex. Is that what you're saying?
Wasn't those brands, in case the lawyers are listening, but it was just that. And I often wonder with these audio systems, do those companies actually do it? I don't know. Somebody out there will probably say yes. Do you think so?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, because I'd imagine that the requirements of a home audio system, which just sits on your shelf in a kind of fairly constant temperature, versus something that needs to do those extreme, minus 40 to plus 40, and be battered about on a rocky road for 20 years, must be entirely different things. I don't know. Let us know.
Thought about that.
If you're out there and you work in audio, let us know if it's real or if it's just the manufacturer's putting a few more speakers
or if it's Rolex. Don't have to cut that out because it wasn't a swear, so we're fine.
So it's sort of a watch you'd see in a car boot sale, isn't it? Yes, it's a genuine Rolex. Yes.
Oh dear! But I'm looking forward to you driving that, because I think you will be charmed by it. But I just do think, for me, whenever you rattle off the list of Stellantis brands, the DS is always the brand that I forget. It is
very true, very true. I just like the fact that it's different. It's not a Tesla. It's not a Mercedes or a German maker. It's what's that?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not even sure I like the look of it, but I like the fact it's different.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You like different things. You do. Yeah. What else have we been doing?
You've been to Le Mans?
I was at Le Mans last week. My first experience.
And there were two interesting things that came from Le Mans. There was, first of all, the E-208, but also on the journey down, you sent us on the Electrifying WhatsApp group an interesting picture.
Yeah, so we drove down in Peugeot E-5008s, right? We were all sharing cars. There was like 2 or 3 to us to a car to drive down to Le Mans. So we went on the Le Châtel, which I'm such a big fan of. It's so satisfying to drive onto a train. And then it's about 4 hours on the other side through France to arrive. So we knew we would have to stop and charge. And can I just say, charging in France is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Every charger that we stopped at worked and charged fast. It was just fantastic. Every time I've driven through France, I'm like, this is so impressive. Why can't we do this? It's really impressive. We had to stop and charge twice because actually Tommy, Gadgets Boy, who does some stuff with Electrifying sometimes, he was driving in sport mode and put his foot down. So we had to stop and charge twice because of him. But the first charge stop felt like it was middle of nowhere, right? There was no shops, no toilets, no nothing. It was just 2 chargers just sat there in the random countryside. There was a sign in French. Actually, I'll send the picture so that then we can put it on YouTube and people can see it. And I scanned it with my Google Translate, and it translated as, "You must not defecate on the other side of this fence."
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
But I wondered, had people defecated on your side of the fence? Had they just not done it on the other side?
I think maybe it's fine to poo on that side of the fence, but you can't poo on the other side of the fence. Dem de rules. I don't know why. I don't know. It was so random. It was such a beautiful place. There was no animals or anything. No like horses and cows and stuff. I was like, oh, maybe because there's horses. So I don't know, maybe horses don't like human poo or something. I don't know. But
grim.
So weird. France. Love it. What have you been up to then?
Well, I've been to Iceland, and I don't mean the frozen food store. Although there is one branch of Iceland, the frozen food shop in Iceland, and I think they've just done it for the shits and giggles, really, of having one there. And I found it and went inside. It's very different to the Iceland here, but I thought I've got to have a picture of the Iceland in Iceland.
Yes, very nice.
Anyway, interesting place. I really wanted to go. I'd never been before, and I thought it would be amazing. I did like it. It's very, very expensive.
Yes.
Except for one thing, which is electricity. Because they have geothermal, because they have all these volcanoes, so they drill some big holes, get the hot water, and the hot water supplies all their heating, all their hot water, obviously, and along with some hydroelectric, all their electricity.
Wow.
And I know, it's amazing. So interestingly, like that, it was permanent sunshine. It just went slightly down for about half an hour and then came back up again because of how far north it is. But the hot water, electricity, all for free because they get it from there, which means that is cheap. So it's 15p ish a kilowatt for their lecky. Yeah. So you'd imagine, since the petrol I had a look was £2 a litre, everything would be electric. And there are some electric cars, but not everything by a long stretch.
Oh, so it's not quite Norway yet?
No. So I was quite surprised about that, but a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Lots of volcanic rock and lots of not many trees. But it was interesting. So I went to drive the Ford Ranger, which is the pickup, the FEV version of that.
Oh, yeah.
Which they've done because in the UK, at least, there's now company car tax, which means that the loophole has been closed. And lots of people, if they buy one of those, jacked up pickup trucks with big wheels and a 3-litre diesel engine, they're now going to be paying an awful lot of company car tax.
Right.
So the FEV will help with that slightly.
Okay. How was it?
Fun.
Are you allowed to tell us yet?
No, I am. It's very nice. I mean, if you're used to a clattering diesel, it's obviously very smooth.
Yes.
If you plug it in, it's quite efficient. It's got more towing power than the diesel, and also it's got those clever things like the electric transit's got, where you can plug stuff into your boot and then run power tools and things.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Very nice. That's quite a manly trip, isn't it?
Manly, pickup trucks,
Rangers and volcanoes. Like it. Did you drink a beer? Proper beer, not a lager.
There was. I went to this amazing place where, because they've got such cheap power and because it's dark for most of the winter months, they can't really grow anything. But they have these greenhouses which have like hydroponics. And they had salad growing, and there was a glass floor in this place where you could eat above it in a restaurant. And the salad was going in various stages, because if you've got very cheap power, rather than importing all your vegetables and stuff, you just grow them there. But instead of having it out in the open, have it with UV lights and hydroponics.
Oh, I love that.
Wow. Yeah,
very
interesting.
Nice. It sounds like a bloody good trip, that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention the E-208 GT, did I? I haven't done that. Let me do it quickly now.
Yeah, tell us about that. I'll tell you what. I think you saw it in the metal, obviously.
Yes.
I was sitting at home, not at the mall, looking at the car, looking at the specs, thinking that sounds quite good.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's got a lot of horsepower. So it's got all the stuff from the Alpha Junior, but not just the Alpha Junior.
The Veloce, right?
Yeah, it's the really fast one, and the Fit 600 Abarth name that's got lots of S's in that I can't pronounce.
Yeah. It's got 280 horsepower.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think it's 0 to 62 5.7 seconds, which, I mean, that as soon as you sit in it, because it's so diddy, it's going to feel faster than that anyway. So it's going to feel super quick when you're driving it. But I quite liked it. I mean, I'd like the normal 208 anyway. I think it's quite a cute looking thing, and I liked it when they revamped the E208, and I like how it looks and the styling and stuff, and they've obviously gone for like that power red color, and I like the kind of light up GTI badge and the red calipers and all that sort of stuff, and the leather and the Alcantara all in the interior. I think it's a lovely looking thing, but obviously I can't really judge it until I drive it properly. But they revealed it, and I went, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you have my attention. It was very nice.
Because there have been a few duds of... it was interesting when Peugeot did the press stuff. They were talking about, the 205 GTI is the most loved GTI ever. And they didn't mention any of the other GTIs that have come in between and have all been a bit... 206.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's like, look, we're back. So hopefully it will be a return to form without the... have you ever driven a 205 GTI?
I've never driven it. No, my mate had one though. I was a passenger.
Did they crash it?
No, they were actually no. I just loved the noise of it. That's what I loved so much. They did at Le Mans just before the race started. They did a parade of 205 GTIs, and they had probably about 40 of them going around the track. That was really cute. Like that
the thing about the 205 GTI was that because of the handling of it, all the journalists loved it, because what you could do is you barrel into a corner, and if you just lifted off the throttle in the middle of a corner, the back end would start to oversteer and you go,
yes.
And if you're skilled and you're at a test track and that happens, you're like, oh, hey, this is good fun. I can drift around this corner like I'm an absolute rally hero. But of course, if you're a normal person and you go into a roundabout and it's a bit quick or it's wet and you go, oh, this corner's much tighter than I thought, you lift off because you want to go slower. And then what happens is you're in a field and you go, how did I get here? So I can see why people love them, and I think it's a lot better now with tyres, but I think 205 GTIs
you don't buy a GTI without knowing how to drive it in the first place, do you? So that's their problem if they're spinning off.
Well, I think the reason that they're quite valuable now, 205 GTIs, is because there aren't that many left, because a lot of them have been put into fields.
Yeah, a lot of them are upside down. But the people are fine, but they're upside down. Yeah.
Shall we look at the rest of the news?
Yes.
So there have been lots of prices this week. I'm conscious of the fact that every single news story I put up seems to be about so-and-so has announced the prices of the... But some of them have been a bit surprising, because last week we had the Renault 4 and we went, oh, that's pretty good value. Yes. 27 grand.
Smashing it.
And then this week, the Suzuki e-Vitara prices were announced, and it starts at 30 grand. And I think I went, that's a bit brave.
That worries me.
Because you've seen that car, haven't you, on an ice rink? It. Oh, you did drive it, didn't you?
Yeah, we drove it.
Because I remember, I think you sent me a picture of like the presentation where they're saying, we are not announcing prices yet, but here's where we're going to be, and had all the competitors on there.
Yeah, it was all over the place. It was really hard to tell where they were going to put the price. And I remember, I think I even said in the video, I was like, if they're in the 20s, they're onto a winner. If this starts with a 3, absolutely not.
Well, it starts at 29,999,999. So,
okay, so they listen to me then.
It does start with a 2, but only just.
That's not good enough, is it?
No.
That's not good enough.
But they'll just come out with some crazy deal on the finance and they'll get rid of them somehow. And of course they're big on that.
But then why announce that price if that's what they're going to do anyway?
I know.
If they want to sell them, they're really going to struggle to sell them at that price. Because it's just not quite good enough. The range isn't quite good enough. The space inside isn't quite good enough. For that size car, when you can go out and get a Renault 4 for 3 grand less. It's an easy decision, isn't it?
And a Puma. And
a Puma.
MGs.
And MGs. And a Renault 5. Yeah. No, I'm going really high pitched. I'm really passionate about this. They've gone way too high. Yeah. They have.
Now,
right.
Talking of high prices.
Yes. We have prices of the EV9 GT. Now, this is interesting because I don't understand why you would have a GT version of a car that's so big. But here are the prices. £82,185, or it's an extra grand on top if you get the 7-seater. I mean, we're looking at a Kia that's £83,000, which is absolutely bonkers, right? I mean, if you would have said in the past, oh, this Kia is going to cost you 83 grand, everyone would have laughed. But do you know what? I reckon people are going to buy them.
Yeah, I think that rather than thinking it's a Kia, we know that with electric cars, people are different about the brands, aren't they? They're not quite so brand conscious. And rather than looking at it as, I'm going to stretch to £83,000 for this Kia, they'll say, well, I was going to buy an Audi Q8 e-tron or something, and that would have been £100,000. And the Kia's only £83,000, and it
comes
all this
with all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, and I'll just have the fast one because I can afford it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Rather than have the other one, which might be slightly better. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine this car's going to be that not interesting. Just big SUVs that go that fast worry me. I mean, why? Why would you want to do that?
It doesn't actually make sense. But if you've got a big family and you also still want to have fun and you can't afford a 2-car garage.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of that Range Rover sport SVR things, those V8 engined Range Rover Sports that are always blue and are always driven everywhere with people accelerating hard so they can hear they can make the exhaust noise everywhere. Range Rover Sport SVRs are just driven everywhere, on, off, on, off. Like, stop it and grow up.
No, never grow up. Don't ever grow up. Life's more fun when you're young.
On to more geeky things, which EV people might like. There's a company called Monta, which has been ranking the most reliable rapid chargers. Not the providers, so it's not the if it's BP Pulse or whatever or GridServe, but the actual chargers themselves. Now, if you regularly charge outside and on rapid charges, you might be interested in this. So the most reliable one was Chempowers. Now, Chempowers are the ones that are used by Osprey generally. They're quite thin and they got big springy bits on.
Yes.
And Sainsbury's use them as well. So if you see one of those, it's going to be the biggest chance it's going to be working. And then Alpitronic, who I hadn't heard of, but then I saw a picture of this Alpitronic, and it's kind of a funny shape. It looks like that building in London. What is it? The walkie-talkie one. But it's the ones used by BP Pulse and NG. So you'd recognise them. I'm not describing it very well, but those ones are the most reliable. So if you're pulling in and you see one of those, they're likely to be working according to this.
Okay, very nice. If not, go to France. Good charging in France.
But if you've noticed the ones that are always working, let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section below. Oh, right. This episode of the Kilowatt Half Hour is brought to you with the help of Anderson EV. If you're into design as much as you're into electric cars, then you will love their home chargers.
Anderson's A2 and A3 aren't just functional, they're beautifully made with a choice of 200 colours and finishes, so they can blend in with your home or be made to match your car.
No bulky boxes, just smart tech that looks great and works. You can find them at anderson-ev.com and go and have a browse. There we go. Let's have your Barnard's bargain, please. This is my favourite feature of the podcast, by the way.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, what's interesting this week is there are always bargains, of course, but the prices have gone up noticeably, and I'm not quite sure why. It must be that there's just between targets or something, so there's not
the end of a
huge
quarter.
bargain. Yeah, it's quite possible, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's the end of that second quarter. So they've done all the bargains to get that last quarter, beginning of June, and now it's just like, well, we've got ages till the next one.
Bump the prices back up again.
Yeah. So, but there is a would you rather with a little bit of a proviso on it, I think. So the first is a Scenic 160 kilowatt Techno with the 87 kilowatt hour battery. So it's the long range one.
Yeah.
24 months with £3,000 down, 8,000 miles a year, £368 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Or a Skoda Enyaq, which we can mention because we're not Ginny and we don't have to pay the fine. 85X Sportline. So the 82 kilowatt hour battery, it's the twin motor 85X at top of the range for £349 a month with £3,000 down. So slightly less down, a couple hundred quid less down. Still 24 months, 8,000 miles a year. Now, that would seem like a much better deal, obviously. I would say that that's probably a better car, generally.
Yes.
But
it's much of a muchness for me.
It's pre-registered. So that just means that they've put some number plates on it to get their bonus, and it's probably registered a couple of months ago. Now, I don't know if that will be the old or the new model. I'm guessing it will be the last of the old model.
If it's already registered, then yes, most likely. Yeah.
So based on that, an old model pre-registered, would you have that or the Scenic?
I do like the Scenic.
Yeah, I like the Scenic too, but it's I suppose it's a slightly bigger battery. Probably got more range, hasn't it? Less space in the back, maybe.
No, they're honestly they're so similar side by side. It's just what kind of badge you'd prefer on your car, I think. And plus, you've got the really cool in the Scenic. You've got the really cool sunroof.
Twin motor.
Twin motor.
But that's less efficient.
Should we both go with the ENIAC to keep Ginny happy? And then we can also test if Ginny's listening to this by saying, Ginny, if you agree with our decision, if we vote for the ENIAC, send us a thumbs up text, please. We'll see if we get a thumbs up from Ginny.
Do you think she listens? Don't know.
Oh, she definitely does.
Does she?
I hope so.
Yeah. I think
if she doesn't, we can say
too.
whatever we want. Boss lady.
Let us know what you
pick.
Yeah.
Right. So this is from David Young. Oh, you're doing this one. This is from David Young. Over to you, Tom.
David Young. So it's a long one, but hold in there. He said, a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, someone asked whether brake lights come on when your car is regenerating its brakes. So this was where Mike came out with the its EU directive.
He got very nerdy.
Yeah, it's quite good. The answer was called some international standard. The brake lights must come on when the car is decelerating more than a certain amount. So my follow-up question is, what happens when the car is going downhill and the regen is maintaining a constant speed, for example, using the cruise control? Going downhill at a constant speed in a non-hybrid car, you have the friction brakes on and the brake lights would therefore be on. But what happens for EVs in this situation? Even though the car is applying braking, you aren't decelerating. So is it out of the scope of that international standard? Do different makes and models vary in how they handle this situation? Now,
that's a really good question. I have never ever thought about this.
No, there will be somebody out there who knows for sure. My feeling is that if the EU directive is that it has to be decelerating, therefore there's a G, then the brake lights wouldn't be on. And I think that's probably right. It always annoys me slightly when the car's brake lights are on. If you're following an internal combustion engine car down a big hill and they've just got the brakes on to feather them, then if they suddenly had to brake and stop in an emergency situation, their brake lights are still on and you don't know about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost as bad as having no brake lights at all, apart from the fact it's dazzling, especially if you're in rain or something, or at night. So I think it's a good thing if they didn't have the brake lights on and you're only braking when you're actually decelerating.
But are they on? Because it could, they might be on. Because if you are going down a hill, it is holding you back. So there is a bit of pressure that's going on the brakes.
Not that much. I think you'd have to be going down quite a steep hill.
Yeah.
For it to be decelerating.
What if they live in San Francisco? We need to find out this information. If you live in San Francisco, find out for us, please. Can you do some research? Thanks.
Look on some CCTV and see what happens with electric cars when they go down these hills.
Thank you. And then invite us along for a holiday. Thanks. That's a bloody good question, though. That's quite fascinating. We'll find out for you. We'll do some research. And then if you know, let us know in the comment section below. Thank you. Right, this is from Brian Evans, 8127. Who says, hi team, first of all, great shows and reviews. Thank you very much. Can you advise, we currently have a Kia Stonic, mild hybrid, but we're looking to go fully electric later this year. The Stonic had load capacity of 352/1155 when the seats are down, and we could do with having a bit more room than that. Room for 2 adults in the back and easy access. We are of that age, not as nimble as we used to be. Oh, bless. Range of 250 miles so that I can get to the West Wales coast and back without needing to top up. So far, I've looked at the Kia EV3 Air, the MG S5 EV, the Trophy, the Skoda Elrock Edition, and the Tesla Model 3. Not sure about the boot space in the Model 3 with that fixed parcel shelf, but we do have 7,000 to 8,000 miles a year, mainly local trips, longer ones in warmer weather, charging at home probably 90% of the time, maybe a Renault 4 or a new Nissan Leaf. Any ideas, team? That list is long of options that you've got there.
I mean, it sounds like Brian's on top of it there. He doesn't need any more advice from us. I mean, the only one that I thought, in terms of boot space and small cars, the new Puma, I mean, the boot space on that's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like in the back.
Space in the back might be right for them. If they want 2 adults in the back and getting in and out easily, I don't think that's going to work.
I think the Renault 4 is a good shout, and the specs will be about right. Will it do the miles?
Should do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the mileage of the Renault 4. I know the EV3 definitely would.
Yeah.
And it's got the space in the back, and boot space isn't bad at all in the EV3.
Yeah.
And if you've already had a Kia, so you might as well just stick with it, and then you've got the nice warranty to come with it as well.
Yeah, that's probably the one, isn't it? MG5 as well. That's got of course,
decent
warranty. Leaf, Don't know. I don't know if that's going to do the miles yet. We haven't really.
We don't know the stats of that properly yet, do we?
Well, I think we've got some
We've
stats,
seen the design and stuff.
yeah. But yeah, well, I think he's probably got it covered. But let us know if you've got any other suggestions.
Yeah. The Puma was an option for boot space, but it's the rear seat space. I don't think it's quite right.
Yeah.
Anyway, if, like Brian, you watch the Kilowatt Half Hour YouTube, it would be brilliant if you could head to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts and give us a follow there as well. Or maybe if you can leave a comment or something, that would be great. Because we're now, listen to this, we're in the top 5 of podcasts globally. We're aiming to grow even more. So every follow, every review, every share really helps us with our plans to make the show even better. So thank you in advance.
I should point out it's not the top 5, it's the top 5%. If we were in the top 5 podcasts,
I said top 5%, did I not?
No, you said top 5.
Oh.
Which I'd have retired if it was the top 5 podcasts in the world. But that, that's still good. Still good, but not good enough. We want to be in the top 3 or something, because then I think we get lots of promotion and then we'll be famous. Or,
yes, more things, please.
In your case, more famous. Yeah.
Not even famous.
So just share it with your EV curious friends. If you know anybody who's going to get an EV, please share the link and show them what we do. They might enjoy it. Yeah. On with the comments. Anyway, let's look after our current listeners, shall we?
Go for it.
So Mark Evans, we were talking about how you should be able to see displayed clearly the price of electricity at DC chargers before you pull in.
Yeah, like an old petrol station.
Like an old petrol station.
Yes.
And Mark Evans says, EG garages have the price per kilowatt hour and a totem along with the petrol and diesel. A new one has just opened in Barnstaple.
Oh, brilliant.
Maybe we should go and have a look or something.
Go get a picture.
Yeah.
Stunning. This is from... are we going Ian S or Ian's? Let's go Ian's 3328. Further to the electricity tariff check, is it worth getting a dedicated charger at approximately £1,000 or just use a 13 amp socket or a granny charger?
Now, because I'm a nerd, I did the sums on this.
I love it when you nerd up over prices.
So I put it all into a spreadsheet. And
it's my favourite thing.
If you are doing an average mileage, that's kind of 8,000 miles a year, and it means that you can charge at a higher rate, obviously at 7 kilowatts on a home charger, a dedicated home charger, for the 5 hours that you have at the lower rate, rather than having to, if you've got a 2 kilowatt charger, which is a granny charger, you have to plug that in, and you will only be able to get your mileage in over many more hours.
And your plug will get hot.
And your plug will get hot. The extra expense of doing that in the power would cover your £1,000 installation of your charger in about 3.5 years. So if you're going to have your electric car for more than 3.5 years and you can have overnight cheap charging, it makes sense to get a dedicated charger. Other than the fact it's more convenient, of course.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. That is what he does.
That's what my sums say. 3.5 years is the payback time.
Okay.
For a dedicated charger, but also it's more convenient and it's damn sight safer as well, because you don't know what's going to happen with a 3-pin plug getting very hot overnight.
Yep, and never use an extension lead, please. Thank you. Make that clear.
Urban Strencan said, great podcast, as usual, Electrifying team. Thank you. For me, I completely agree with Ginny. The US brand I would love to get here in Europe is Rivian. So, yeah. Now, interestingly, one of my friends contacted me and said, why haven't you had a Rivian in to test yet? I want to have a look at it. Well, they don't sell them here. So, yes, they do. I've just seen one on the A14.
Left-hand drive, though?
Yeah.
That must be left-hand drive.
So she was like very, very excited by it and said, I need to see one of these cars. It looked brilliant. And the only reason I can think that there might be one on the A14 is there's those American Air Force bases there. So there's quite a lot of American cars.
There you go.
And they ship them over in big planes, don't they?
Yeah.
and then take them back. So there is a Rivian in the UK. If you're the American airman who has a Rivian in the UK, can we have a go, please?
I want to play. Right, this is from at Down to Earth Tech Tests 2685, who says the Grandland is really quite underrated. In brackets, Nicola's fault. Now,
I'm wagging my finger at you.
I mean, wag away. I've said what I thought. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
The video is out. I said what I thought. I didn't like the brakes, and I think maybe where they've made some tweaks for now, it's now they're selling it. Maybe they've made the brakes better, but you can see on the video how the brakes worked, and I wasn't happy with that at all. Anyway, we carry on. I did a 280-mile motorway run recently and managed 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour on the way up. M25 traffic, help there. Normal speeds back gave me 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Pretty decent for a massive shoebox on wheels. Yes. Software-wise, I've found a few oddities. So Android Auto sometimes dies if you plug in with the cable or try to hotspot when using wireless. Also, the head-up display disappears if the car is really hot inside. I had the same problem with the boot after a software update back in April. Overall, though, it's incredible value given the monthlies. Now, that's interesting because are you doing those trips in warm weather? Because actually 3.8 is not bad for a car of that size. Thoughts and prayers for when winter comes.
Yeah, well, I've been getting 4.1 out of mine.
Yeah.
So yes, winter. We'll see.
Yeah.
See how it copes. Talking of your videos and being perhaps slightly critical of things.
What did I do now?
This trip that I was on to Iceland with Ford to drive the Ranger.
Oh no!
I was with the Ford PR team.
Oh no! What, Christian?
Yeah.
I do like Christian. What have I done now? Has he told me off?
He said to me, "Did you rebadge the Ranger for your test?" And I said, "No."
Do you know what was? Right. So, if you haven't seen this, when we drove the Ford Capri, we all universally within electrifying.com all agreed that we shouldn't call it a Capri. So we made some Mondeo stickers and we stuck them over the Capri badge and we judged it like a Mondeo, which is probably the best way to do it. So then we weren't judging it like it was a Capri. I think it was a good idea. It went down pretty well. Then, about 4 months later, I went out with Ford again to go and drive the new Puma. And even the European team of Ford were coming up to me, the American team of Ford coming up to me going, "Have you brought any stickers with you this time?" I was like, "Oh no, God." And I felt so uncomfortable. But look, we did what we did. And it wasn't just me. It wasn't just my decision. This was an electrifying-wide decision to do this. I just happened to be the face of it.
I just said it was Nicola. She's out of control. We had no idea.
We had no idea, even though all of us were coming up with the Mondeo sticker design in the WhatsApp group.
But yes,
that's fine.
Apparently, it caused a little consternation within the Ford PR team globally.
Oh, God,
you were mentioned in meetings.
Oh no! Like being mentioned in meetings. Oh God! Oh, I'm sweating now. I'm stressed.
Anyway, talking of efficiency, as we were before then, Carl Brandom says, "I've been getting 5.5 miles per kilowatt hour in sport mode and 6.8 in eco mode, driving around in my Nero EV. This makes up for the 2.2 to 3 miles per kilowatt hour I get in winter. It's a big change, isn't it?
I wonder when 6.8 in eco mode.
I wonder when the swap comes, the change of, if it
what's
gets
the
too
temperature?
hot. If it gets too hot, you have to use the aircon.
Yeah. How much time we got left? I can't see the time on the thing. We've been talking for a while.
We've been talking.
39. We can do a couple more.
Well, a couple more. Yeah. Okay. There was a nice one about the Heart of Joy, because we were discussing how BMW's new electric cars have a Heart of Joy, which is the computer system thing. So Terry Sankey 3982 said it translates as Herz der Freude in German, which sounds better than Heart of Joy, because Heart of Joy just sounded a bit. And he also says it's a bit like advantage through technology, which is very similar to Vorsprung durch Technik from Audi.
Yeah.
And Keith Willis said, Heart of Joy rang a bell. There's a spaceship in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy called Heart of Gold, powered by the infinite improbability drive. So I'm not a Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy type of chap, but
neither am I.
No, but apparently that's the thing.
We love a random reference. That's great. On that note, I think we'll wrap up. Thank you very much for listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, good for the algorithm, all that stuff. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.